Welcome race fans, it's a great Wednesday to bring out a brand new series for Mosport. I'm happy to say it's time for the BiS Radical Cup Canada Series, an 8-race championship here in the Radical SR10 to see who will be crowned the fastest. Wow, it's going to be a really exciting season for us, but not only will Podium be bringing you live action from this series, but on alternating Wednesdays, you'll get more BiS racing action with the F1600 series, so stay tuned for that. We had the first race last week for them, so if you're into prototypes or open wheelers, BiS and Podium Esports have tons of racing action coming very soon. Screen right in front of you, or side of you, depending on where you're sitting. Make sure to follow on all the channels as we get ready to strap in and kick off for a brand new show. Tonight, of course, a very familiar setting for road races. It is a classic. It has got poutine. It has got other Canadian foods that I forget right now. But we're at Canadian Time Motorsport Park, affectionately called Mosport. We're up here in Ontario, and this is a great racetrack here, of course. Lots of racing pedigree. And I am Rachel Wyford, if you hadn't already guessed. And joining me in the booth tonight is Mr. Reese Gardner. We've got DJ Line behind the scenes working the controls as our wonderful, talented producer. Reese, tell me a little bit about Mosport.
Well, Mosport is a simply fantastic track. I mean, it's a classic for a reason. Hosted the Canadian Grand Prix between 1967 and 1977, and it's a bit of an outlier, Rachel, in that it's one of the few racetracks around the world in which its layout has not changed at all since it opened. It was widened in the late 1990s, and that's about it. It is the same classic layout that everyone has enjoyed for going on 50, 60 years now. 10 turns. It's a super fast track, high average speed, and tons of elevation change as well. Perfect suit for these cars.
It absolutely is. And well, we're getting ready for great racing tonight. We've got, looking at this in the list here, 35, 40 entries for tonight's race. It's going to be a very busy track here. And our race formula, we're going to be getting here is, of course, a 50-minute heat race. Then we go on to after a short break, a full 30-minute with a pit stop race for tonight's event. So it's going to be very busy here, Reese. Here's our series, of course, on track. We're going a little bit to North America with this one. Of course, Mosport, we have on the 29th of November, Sebring, we have Donington, we have Cota, Laguna Seca, Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, and Mosport again, because you can't have enough Mosport.
Absolutely, and I would definitely not disagree with that. It's a fantastic circuit. I'd be happy to visit twice in any season, let alone 10 times. I love that track so much. So yeah, that's the event format that you were just talking about, Rachel. 2 races. There will be a pit stop required in race 2, and there are 2 classes here. iRacing cap on screen for AM, fixed setup, so it's all down to the driver, and they do have to be careful of the incident limit as per usual. They're also racing for prizes as well. The winner of the Pro class and the winner of the AM class at the end of the season will get a Radical experience thanks to Radical Canada. That is going to be fantastic for them.
Absolutely. Big shout out there to Robert Burgess of Radical Canada, who are, of course, providing that. We've got Turn 1 Sim Racing, where champions are born. Come race with us. Turn 1 Sim Racing, of course, sponsors of this series. We'll talk more about them later in the broadcast for you. Looking forward to tonight. We're getting qualifying well and truly underway here. We're seeing a lot of that put in the numbers. We're seeing good times and variety. There are about 7 seconds across our field. Those things are looking right now, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one does unfold for us here.
Indeed. Live view of qualifying up on your screen now, and currently it's Phil Bouchard on pole position right now, Alex Ellis in car 1 in second. We also have Suelio Almeida racing. If you're into your sim racing, you probably know who Suelio Almeida is. Sim racing coach. He races in the real world, and he's got a book coming out as well. I'm interested to see how well he does here.
Certainly are. Looking forward to see his performance in tonight, of course. Looking forward to see what all these guys do, of course. You can see the colour difference there on our screens for us. Let's say the yellows are our pros and our AMs are the reds. Correct. If I'm reading that one correctly. So that is how you'll be able to tell on your screens who is who and who is what and who is where. Are they all going to be fighting each other for position? Absolutely. So pro or AM could win the race. It's just going to come down to the scores in those individual classes by season's end.
Absolutely. Look at this on board here from Nick Horvath coming into the final few turns here. This is one of my favorite sections of the track. I love how you're just decreasing your speed all the while, trying to keep up the momentum and making sure that you don't scrub the fronts. Now, that's something that you need to look out for in the Radical SR10. It's a car that does have a bit of a tendency to understeer if you push it too hard, which would certainly be difficult at a track like this with so many fast turns. Fortunately, it's a nice cool track temperature out there, and we have 100% humidity, lots of fog in the session, so hopefully the drivers have enough grip.
Hopefully they do. We'll have to see what can happen from the broadcast and the racing events overall, but we have a lot to cover with this one, so we'll make sure we keep an eye on that as we move forward. Looking into the last moments here of our quali session, 17 minutes on the books here, so we're counting those last 3 minutes here for this session. Predictions of difficult spots in this race, Reese. What are we thinking?
I have absolutely no idea. It's a brand new season. It's a whole new roster of drivers from what I'm usually used to. So I'm just looking forward to having a nice time, having a great race here at a classic Canadian circuit. But what I'm thinking is lap 1 is going to be very difficult. It's a fast opening turn, and of course the track in the real world has tarmac runoffs at quite a few turns now, but this scan dates from before that point, so the drivers have nothing to save them if they go off the road.
An incredibly diplomatic answer there, Reese. Giving us the safe one. I think it's going to be interesting, of course. In terms of trouble spots, let's be honest, we have some pretty common. We've got a Phil Bouchard here on board, the pro driver, watching his onboard view, very fast in these radicals. But one thing to really consider is our danger spots really are going to be car neutral, I think, in this track. In that we expect to have issues at turn 2, of course, especially at the early laps. We expect to have issues in 5A and B, and the final chicane as well. Those are our trouble spots that we'll be keeping an eye on when there is a lot of traffic and racing battles happening, because they are generally car exclusive where we tend to have issues.
Yes, though the track is wider than it used to be, it's still pretty narrow in quite a few places, particularly through 5 and 5A, the Moss hairpin, as you mentioned. The run down to that corner, very difficult to get right, especially the left-hander going over the hill through it. Yeah, it's easy to lose the front end of the car and understeer off, so who knows, if there's too much side-by-side on turn 1, we might see someone taken to the grass and ending up T-boning a few people in the hairpin.
More than possible. We'll have to keep an eye on whether that takes place for us, but as it goes, look at this onboard view here. Gorgeous camera angle there. Great for these. We've got a lot of driver onboard cameras for today, which will help, of course. That's Clovis Gerard. Here's onboard view there. The racing gloves there for his direct drive wheel, help keep his little hands nice and soft. Important for a sim racer, of course. But this is one of the trouble spots here. This really fast right, left, right here for the final section. We do tend to have a little bit coming together, especially with pit stops, possibly causing some mixed signals.
Yes, indeed. That's something you have to consider coming into the second race. In order to get into the pits here, you have to run wide coming out of the final turn, and one of the big moves that you see here at Mosport is drivers going for the inside at the final corner by accelerating a little earlier out of the penultimate one. And the question is, for the driver in front, he's going to be thinking, is he going for the pits or is he going to try and pass me? That's something that we're going through plenty of drivers' heads in the second race, but it looks like qualifying is just about done, and it seems that Alex Ellis has this one wrapped up.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Looks like Ellis has it in the back. We'll keep our eyes there for the short time being what will occur from this, but we are looking at gridding, so let's go through your starting order. Well, here we go. Alex Ellis leading off the way there, first position with a 1:11.313. Phil Bouchard in second place there with a 1:11.499. Behind them, Sulio Almeida is in third with Curtis James in fourth. Fifth is Zach Buchanan. Sixth is Arnaud Genest. Andrew Hardman in seventh. Eighth is Caden Goodridge. Ninth is Joey Haynes, and Timothy Salvatore in 10th place.
Kenny Reedman in the number 42 starts alongside Mark Harris on the 6th row. We have Caben Norris lining up alongside Chris Stiles on row 7. Medina and Reeves sharing 15th and 16th places. Jean Ben Walid is starting alongside the 215 of Eric Harmon. And then we have Stephen Place and Richard Swindells rounding out our top 20.
21st will be Dave Peterson with Scott Bedard in 22nd, Nick Horvath in 23rd, Michael Broomhead in 24th, Connor Jantius in 25th, Igor Bugayev, 26th, Bugayev. I do apologize if I screw your names up, guys. I will apologize ahead of time. Just laugh at my pronunciations. Kenny Brown, 27th there with Robert Covey in 28th. Sean Gimel in 29th with Matthew Howard in 30th.
Daniel Zippy Salmon is starting in 31st place alongside Justin Johnson, with Jake Cowden and Dante Kispe starting in 34th place. Shane Morrison and James Carter sharing the 18th row of the grid. Clovis Gerard will be followed along with in qualifying starts in 37th place alongside Phil Amaro, and it's a nice even 40-car grid for this one, Rachel. Eugene Cartini and Joseph Yang rounding out the field. Yang did not take part in practice or qualifying, but he is on the grid. So we have no marker on his pace as they are rolling.
We're running for our first 50-minute heat race here. We've also now grid, I believe, for our second main event. But it's a very short pace lap. Basically, it's run through 8, 9, 10, and off they go. Pace car will leave Alex Ellis in the control of the field here, alongside Phil Bruchard. Here we go, through turn 10. Racing at a very foggy Canadian Time Mosport Park. We are away. It is a big start there. Huge number of cars into turn 1 here for lap 1 of round 1 of the Canada Radical Cup Series. Into turn 2. This is where things could get tricky, of course. And Ellis is still strongly
there we go.
Comfortable here. We have got issues already. People off. Was expected for turn 2. Only 1. It's a good start. It could have been much worse. Especially with 40 cars here. That could have been truly horrific, but 1 car off was great. And here we go, big time now into 5A and B. Arguably a bit of a bigger spot for problems, as I joke on my own words, as everyone really breaking down into that big hill drop there with a big uplift and a kicker in the middle of it. Making things quite tricky to keep the car stable. And dirt tends to upset a lot of vehicles. A lot of side-by-side running through here. 1 car backwards in the chicane. We'll see if Reese can work out who that was for us. It's a lot of cars. It might be difficult to find out. But everyone up the Andretti straight there. My own memory escaped me as I'm going to replay what happened just a moment ago, but my own memory escaped me there, Reese. I know it's the Andretti straightaway. For some reason, my brain was just like, you don't remember.
Oh, it's Justin Johnson in the number 11. That camera
angle. Love it. Thank you. Easiest way to work out who that was. It shows us the number right in our faces. Love it. He also good again there. As thank you to Dougie Beard for those amazing camera angles, by the way. He's our camera builder, of course, as always. And looking at things now, Ellis still strongly leading the way. Bouchard holding on to him tight here. Almeida and Buchanan really up there as well, joining him in this fight, as is Curtis, just at the rear of that group, but he's been caught by Goodrich right now.
Yeah, certainly close battling at the front. The 2 cars that went off in turn 2, Andrew Hardman got bumped off into the grass, and I also saw Robert Covey spinning further back, so those drivers are on the recovery right now. Alex Ellis, it does seem like he's holding on to the lead nicely, but he'll have to be careful of the slipstream down the Andretti straightaway. It seems very strong. See how Bouchard is gaining on him. The top 4 broken away from the rest of the field, so this is going to be close.
Absolutely is going to be very close here. We've got side-by-side at the front of the race, though. Side-by-side for the lead, Bouchard and Ellis. So he's been looking to be inside there. Really wants to challenge this. It's going to bring Almeida into the fight here as well.
Nice move.
Makes the move through there. Bouchard to the lead here. Ellis still holding on to the back of him. A little bit of wiggle into 1, though. Ellis not quite as strong there, coming through that first corner. But a little bit loose in the dirty air behind Bouchard's machine. And dive down into turn 2, and it's a solidified lead there for Bouchard. That could have been different, but looking cool there under the collar. Alex Ellis there in his VRS hoodie, looking very team colors. Will come through, and I'm looking at what I see as triple screens. Big advantage, of course. And we see a lot of drivers really debating between VR and triples. Reese, where do you stand on that line?
I stand on triples. That's what my rig is set up with. Although there's a few different reasons for that for me. I wear glasses, so VR's not really an option. But I also like the ability to stay in touch with the real world. So that's probably why Alex Ellis is running that, as he is going for the lead once more around the outside, and he gets it done. Nice.
Realistically, I think we're going to see them trading spots here on the Andretti Straight. It's long enough that doing so will help the group and then pull away from the rest of the pack here, which is, of course, important for them. Want to make sure they are further. Let's have a look back in our field. Oh, contact in the final corners here. And I think I see who that is. That is the 99 machine has gone round. Sir Joey Haynes from 8th place. And that was, I believe, contact with the 36. Comes to the rear of him, contacts that rear corner. And round he spins, manages to keep it on the apex curbing. No other issues for anybody. Replay here for you. You'll see the little hook, the little accidental hook into that corner, and just catches. Oh, bad timing. But look at him, dodges everything, just stays on that inside curbing. Yeah, 360 no scope. Keeps it going and runs on the racetrack. No, he makes it through there nicely. That is, it could have been a lot worse for everybody involved, but no problems there. Some good pack racing further down the order. The top 15 or so, we're seeing some good racing down here. A lot of guys all over each other at the moment. Ton of wild racing. But Kenny Redman here from 10th place. We had a car up just ahead of them. Ooh, busy racetrack. A lot of cars top each other. Forcing doors open here. We're seeing Redman there had the door open on him.
Oh, God. That is huge. Big contact for Timothy Salvatore into the tyre barriers, and it looks like he is our first confirmed retirement of the race.
I'm just looking at that. He looks like he under-braked himself coming up behind the car ahead. The 36 machine. That would have been... Was it 36? It was 36. Comes around to 36. Brakes too late. Has to panic evade and pulls out to the side. Gets the grass and just goes flying off there. Nowhere to avoid. Replay for you here. Looks out, brakes himself. And off he goes. Unfortunate there.
Yeah, that's huge impact there. And number 36 was also the one involved in the incident that turned around Joey Haynes, Mark Harris, in that number 36 car. And I noticed he was going for that move on Haynes in the way that I predicted in qualifying. He was trying to pick up the throttle early through the penultimate turn to go for the move up the inside at the final corner. But that was an example of that move not working out. Draft Train and in the lead of the race, it does seem that things are looking reasonably stable in that regard. It's an exciting battle, but we're expecting this is going to be the order of the night.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a very busy night. In fact, looking at the front of the field, we've got busy right on our screens. As here comes Suelo Almeida to challenge for the lead here, as it's going to be 3 wide there across the line. Rashad leads the way. And Almeida up to the front here. Is he going to have a chance to go around the outside for 2? This would be a bold place to do it. If you can hold the car there, he'll have the inside for 3, which could be big. He's not going to quite overlap, though, so we'll go back to Rashad, who could retain the racing line. But he's not going to give up yet. Almeida's in this fight and wants to take part. Of course, this will affect our starting order, of course. So these guys, it's all going to help towards their actual race score. Here comes Ellis up the inside, up towards 4. Dives through, clears the spot into 5. Will he get anything done? Runs too wide. Here comes Almeida to take it back up the inside of turn 5B through Moss's second corner. And that was clean. This is beautiful racing.
I'm loving this. This is fantastic. Did you see Alex Ellis move to the inside at turn 1 earlier in the lap? There was 1 car length of space between the cars, and he managed to fit it in there. This is fantastic stuff. Ellis is the one with the slipstream right now, but he has no space to make the move. He's been boxed in by Almeida.
Now, he's going to have the inside line for turn 9, which gives him the advantage there. A little bit of a touch, but nothing too problematic. We'll focus back on the rest of the field in a moment, but this is just very action-packed work here at the top of the field. We'll go through your running order in a moment, take a look at the other cars, but this is hard to tear our eyes away from, I've got to say, Reese.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of this battling between the top 4 has brought 5th and 6th in there as well. Curtis James and Arnaud Genest in there too. Back in the field, coming into turn 1. Nice move up the inside there for Hunter Reeve on Nick Horvath, but Horvath with traction and speed coming out of turn 1 up the inside for turn 2. Got to be careful of the bumps on the inside there. You hit them wrong in a car with low ride height like this, you're going straight off into the grass.
Yeah, really, I want to be careful with that, of course, as things settling down a little bit at the front. little bit further back, though, we're seeing some racing and busy track conditions around our 10th, 11th, 12th spot here. Coming through Moss at the moment. Kind of Goodridge, Bernard, Haynes, Janistas. But those drivers running pretty no still at the moment, unfortunately. So it was a little bit more action-packed a minute ago, but they're we've got a bit of two wide ahead of them. Looking up to who that is. It's going to be around our 10th and 9th spot. Looking at well, ironically, place. 10th place is Stephen Place with Eric Hartman, sorry, in front of him. And I said Hartman because I was just thinking Cartman. Don't mind me. Sorry, 215. I will not compare you to him any further. I do apologise. I will say it's a great racing car driver's name when your name is Stephen Place.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it works pretty well, and plenty of pun fodder for commentators. So things looking stable for them. Further back, meanwhile, looking through the final turn at James Carter, who was on his lonesome in the number 70. It's not been a particularly good run for him, but he is pushing hard.
Yeah, he really is. Got Carter there with his onboard camera. Got his fan blasting, hopefully to give him some extra speed that will keep him cool. I will say Mosport is one of the tracks that makes you sweat the most. It is a very, very intensive driver track here, unlike a lot of them. With the amount of lack of runoff and just general twisty nature, this one will keep you very, very busy. It's quite a short time as well. It's, yeah, and yeah, give blood, give hope we're seeing on his shirt there, so good Red Cross cause. But I will say, this is a 1 minute 11 lap, let's not forget, Reese. This is non-stop for these guys.
Yeah, you barely get any time to rest around here. Even the Andretti straightaway is curved, so yeah, there's absolutely no moment to have a break around this circuit, and no wonder James Carter is pushing, as is everyone at the front of this field. And it looks to me like this is the battle further back in that field, a bit spaced out between Clovis Girard, Joseph Yang, and Justin Johnson. But tell you what, Clovis up 10 positions from where he started. He's taken advantage and driven cleanly through these opening laps.
Yeah, very much so, of course, as things have settled down towards the front there. Girard there on board for him. But things have settled down at the front, really, as we're seeing a move by Ellis again. We're expecting this at this point, honestly. It's draft passing, it's helping maintain their gap over the other cars as the inside of a 9. Of course, we are looking at 13 laps for completion here, so this will be on to lap 10. So we're into our twilight laps of this heat race, so we're seeing the front there. And that's Bouchard back into the lead of this race. Ellis second, Almeida in third, Buchanan in fourth, James there, Chris James in fifth spot. A little bit further back from there, we've got a lot of hefty traffic around 17th, 18th, 19th here. Humongous pile-up of cars, not crashing, just lots of them around. That's the wrong word to use. Horvath, Brown, Peterson, Harmon, Reeves, Salmon, Swindells, Bedard, all those guys, all on top of each other here, just nose to tail.
Yeah, beautiful train of cars at the moment. Kenny Brown at the head of it, and he's trying to keep Dave Peterson behind him, but that's the big pressure that you have to deal with when you're the second car in a train. You're trying to chase for the lead of it, but you have to worry about everyone behind. You make one mistake and they will be there to pounce. Peterson a little bit defensive there into Moss, and well, it's a double apex corner. You can certainly keep the exit up out of there, and well, we'll see once again the draft incredibly strong in this car. Look at the overspeed that Dave Peterson has.
Yeah, it really does, and it's a big advantage for him in terms of track positional gain. Coming through 8 and 9, a lot of traffic here, keeping it clean. Everyone gets their order and running positions back in place there. Harmon sitting in the back of that one. He could have been a bit further forward, but these guys will keep him honest at the moment. 23 there. Brown got passed out by Peterson. Move him up one. Towards the sharp end, we've got a bit of a separation. We're going to replay for you, showing what happened there. It's Eugene Cardini with a bit of a moment we got on screen here.
Too deep.
Oof, yeah, just a little bit too much off the top there.
Yeah, easy to do in Moss. The elevation change on the way into the corner, you're cresting a hill right at the apex of the first apex, I suppose, and you get it wrong a little too deep and you will go straight off. Now here's the 3 wide for the lead. Look at this, Suelio Almeida's going to try around the outside into the third last turn here, but Ellis protecting from him. Big oversteer moment for Almeida.
Bold, bold, bold. That is a very brave choice to make at that stage of the race. But we're into lap 11 on to 12 here, so this will be our white flag this time by, I believe. Before we'll go to, yeah, so it'll be white flag this time. Not this time we just gone past, but this time, the next time they go past the flag, I'll eventually speak English.
Don't worry, we can understand everything that's going on here with the combination of your words and the pictures on screen. This is fantastic fighting coming through these corners. I'm just wondering how things are going to stack up coming onto the final lap, because, I mean, the driver who's all the way behind is going to be the one with the advantage coming into the last few turns here. But once again, it is a narrow track. Ellis, it seems, got a nice exit from Moss that time by, so it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a chance for Almeida, Bouchard and Buchanan to go for him here. But I tell you what, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, it certainly is, as they get themselves through in a moment and pushing onwards and onwards and onwards. It'll be white flag this time for them, as Almeida struggling to hold that second spot there. He needs it back, and well, Ellis is enjoying this. He's watching him fight behind him. This gives him a big advantage. As let's not leave Zach Buchanan out. Light flag. This is the final lap here. This will be everything we're waiting for with these guys behind them. Bouchard and Buchanan side by side. It's going to be Almeida in second. Ellis with a big jump at the front. That's going to be really helpful, but they'll get eaten up on the Andretti straight there. Behind them it's pretty quiet until we get back to Jantius. And just ahead of him, Bernard. A little bit further behind them, we have Goodridge, we have Broomhead, and we have Haynes as well in that group. But let's look back at our leaders here. This top 4. This will be the big tell here, coming down the Andretti Straight. This is where the best exit from Moss will be a huge advantage. And being stuck out in front for Alex Ellis, it's not the saving grace he thinks it is.
No, certainly not. Suelio Almeida will be picking up a tiny bit of slipstream, but I don't think at this distance it's going to be enough. Almeida should be okay in second because Bouchard and Buchanan are fighting hard. Remember, Buchanan, the one leading the AM class.
Yeah, he is there, and he'll get through at the moment, through the final corners. This will be Alex Ellis. A big one for him. Ellis winning for the pro class. Buchanan for the amateur class. And across the line they come. Big run there. And an interesting start to our heat, of course. Well, this is our end to our heat, I should say, with a start coming up for our actual qualified race. This will be interesting. This is going to be a really tough battle.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And don't forget, it's a reverse top 10 as well. So we'll keep an eye on that as Andrew Hardman was racing Caden Goodridge to the line there. Everyone coming across the line, and looks like the battles are over for the most part all throughout this field. It seems like Phil Amaro is going to be the last driver to cross the line in 29th place. We had quite a long retirements list.
There we go with our end for that one. Let's run through our final order here. We get ready for our turnaround.
Phil Amaro just a couple of corners away from the line, and once he's crossed it, here we go.
Right, we'll just run through our top 20 on the screen, and we'll get to the other ones before we go there. So we've got Alex Ellis taking the win with Suelio Almeida in second place. Third is Phil Bouchard. Zach Buchanan fourth overall, but first of our AM class. We have Curtis James, we have Arnaud Genest, we have Mark Harris in 7th, 8th place, Kenny Reedman. 9th is Eric Harmon, Steve in 10th place. Behind him is Connor Genetius. We have Benelade is in 12th, Haynes in 13th, Broomhead in 14th, Styles 15th, Peterson 16th, Goodridge 17th, Hardman in 18th, Salmon 19th with Swindellis in 20th. The rest of those positions on your screen. Reese, what has this first round told us?
Well, this first race has told us that you definitely need to keep it clean on the opening laps, and you've got to be careful not to race each other too hard. Otherwise, you're going to have to put a lot of trust in each other. I think a lot of the retirements that we saw, basically the entirety of 30th to 40th place, they came off due to making slight mistakes on their own or from contact with other cars racing side by side where they really shouldn't have been. So hopefully they carry those lessons through to the feature race of the night, where once again we are expecting a pit stop and the top 10 have been reversed.
Well, we'll be back in just a few moments' time with our feature race, but first, here's a quick commercial break.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Ever witness someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really going to reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
Welcome back, race fans, of course, to the Radical Canada Cup Series here from BiS and Podium Esports. We're back, of course, at my English is really strong tonight. Mosport, Canadian Town Motorsport Park. We're getting ready for our feature race tonight. This is our 30-minute race with pit stop forced, of course, tonight, which will be our big deciding one for this first round. We just had our first race, the heat race here, 15-minute sprint race, and our results were finalized. Now, this is a top 10 reversal race, which means 10th place, Stephen Place, is now in first place.
Yes, fantastic stuff alongside Eric Harmon on the front row of the grid. Reedman and Harris behind him, with Arnaud Geneste and Curtis James in 5th and 6th. 7th and 8th, Zach Buchanan and Phil Bouchard, and then Suelio Almeida and Alex Ellis are going to round out this top 10. From there back, Rachel, it's pretty much how they finished in race 1.
It absolutely is. We've already gotten those, we've just gone through, so we won't do the full read right now for you because we had those results only a moment ago. But yes, we do have the top 10 we described for you a second ago. The rest of those are our finishing results from that first one, and we are about ready to go here. So just to kind of really kind of zazz things up for you, it would be Genetes, Beloade, Haynes, Broomhead, Styles, Peterson, Goodridge, Hardman, Salmon, Swindells in your top 20 there. As we get ready to go on the restart here. And this is a big top 10 reversal. Make things very interesting. Place will take us to the green flag, and across the line we go. Big into turn 1. We've got 3 wide just behind them at the bottom end of your top 10. So our finishers in the top podium positions from last round. Oh, off we go. First car off in turn 1. That is the 87 machine of Curtis James, who got sent for a trip in the grass.
Yeah, a bit of a trip through the grass indeed. I noticed that Eric Harmon wasn't quite alongside Stephen Place on the start, so I think everyone who was starting on the left side of the grid may have been a car length further back than they wanted to be. But other than that, it looks like a pretty clean start, but the story could change coming into Moss.
Absolutely could change, as things did pretty clean through Moss for the time being. No major dramas, everyone keeping themselves well behaved. They do indeed. Oh, I say that, but they try and have a little bit of a fisticuffs a little bit further back. Work out who that is. It's right behind this top group here. I think it's going to be our friend Phil Amano. No, it's not. That's one of the Notto cars ahead. You know what? They'll be in there somewhere. It'll be worked out. There's a lot of race cars here. Oh, problems.
Reedman. Oh, okay. Looks like he's lost the rear wing, and thank goodness that happened right before the pits, because he's going to go straight in.
Yeah, he donked himself on the back there of the car ahead, backed into the outside wall, but yeah, straight into pit road. Nice and easy to repair that one for him. Might lose some time though, unfortunately. But towards the front, Harman still leading the way here from place. He just changed spot a moment ago. We've got Almeida in third already. He's jumped hugely. 9th to 3rd already. Replays on Reedman's crash here.
Okay, so he tried to go for it, but yeah, unfortunately that transfer of momentum meant the rear end said no thank you.
And there is a downside. Unfortunately, Carr did not want to face backwards, but as it stands, he's going to be on pit road for quite a while with that repair work, so they'll have to get him sorted and then he'll be back out eventually, we hope.
Interesting. That's the first time I've seen bump drafting tonight. Stephen Place sitting behind Eric Harmon. I would have expected him to go for it, but he's not. And here comes Suelio Almeida, who's made his way up to 3rd. He's the only one out of our top 3 from the previous race that has managed to make himself up that far. But I'd be interested to see what that bump drafting does further on in the race if Stephen Place decides to continue doing it.
Qualify my upside down colleague here. This is drafting, not bump drafting. Bump drafting requires contact, so these cars aren't best designed for contact. It tends to be a scoop and lift affair if they try to put their nose up to the rear end of somebody else's vehicle. Generally not healthy for either person's race.
Well, I mean, he was riding the rear.
Well, yeah, he can stay right and tucked into the rear. It's a very good place to be. It's an aerodynamic hole, so you'll get speed and net speed up the pair of you. So it is an advantage. Just contact would be ill-advised, I think is the best way to phrase it. As Geneste making some waves here, trying to make himself known. Almeida is looking for a move. We're on board with Rashad here. He's working his way on Harris just ahead.
Yeah, okay, let's see what Bouchard can do to catch up. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing like tiny bits of contact happening between Stephen Place and Eric Harmon. It's not sustained, but they are running very close together. Look at this fight in front of him. Look, he's catching up massively as Bouchard. Ellis side by side with Jeunesse there. That has brought Bouchard right into the fight here.
Yeah, it really has, and that's going to be big for them, of course, to be involved in this. So they'll have to be real careful not to take things too far, but as it goes, Almeida leading the way already from 9th to now 1st. Ellis as well, 10th to 4th. He's making big moves too. He's looking towards place in Harmon, trying to find his opportunity. And we're seeing that top 10 put itself back in order, really. But Harris and Bouchard, Bouchard is actually being challenged by Harris a lot more than we thought.
Yeah, very challenged indeed. The top 3 have broken away just a little bit, but I'm sure that Ellis will be able to get it done if he can pick up the slipstream. Daniel Salmon, meanwhile, saw him on comms for the FF1600s, I believe, last week, and he's been doing very well for himself so far in the 659. Unfortunately, not the best of starts in race 2. He started 19th, he's down to 37th, so he's got a lot to fight for here. He'll be hoping to make up some time in the pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely think he will be, as we've got another car turned around there on turn 9 area. That's our
Morrison.
3rd car. Yeah, Morrison has now been reversed from the direction they really wanted to be facing. Replay going to be upcoming for you for that one. You see after Morrison here. On board through 8. Nice and easy. On the curbing, looking good. What happens to him here? Oh, wow, got a little wide. Okay, he got a little wide, grabbed it, turned him out. That was an odd crash.
I'm wondering if he has suspension damage, because the car didn't... Oh, look at the front right. Unless that was the contact with the wall. I think he was already... Yeah, but I think he was already dealing with some damage on that car, because that it did not look healthy. In any case, it happened right in front of our leaders, so that would have been a big scare for Suelio Almeida. Fortunately, he is in the lead and looks like he's holding on very nicely, but Alex Ellis is pursuing.
It's absolutely not what you really want to see when you're leading as a car turned around in front of you, so you have to always be careful for that sort of thing. Got some three wide action further back. Trying to find out who this is because that's just lost on my screen there. Around Covey, Gerard, and Reeve down in 19th and 20th. Some very busy racing back there. There's a huge knot of cars fighting for position. Bottom end of your top 20.
Very nice job from everyone to keep it clean through turn 1. Close, though, between Igor Bugayev and Nathan Medina, who goes into the grass. That's a little bit of momentum lost. That'll affect his line into turn 2. Oh, wow, all right. Oh, how was no one else involved in that?
Everyone's involved.
Goodness gracious.
That's impressive because you actually watch the machine there of the 336, the 66, Bugayev. You get some air from that little hop there. Watch this. He goes dirt jumping here as he dodges to the inside to avoid the spinning 23. Look at that whee!
Oh, I love it.
Whee! It actually leapt. Hang on, I'm just going to scroll this back here and clarify. No, unfortunately, he leapt from the dirt, so the asphalt kind of cut off and took off from. He leapt the whole distance to the racetrack, landed on the racetrack, and then slid across it. That was some trick moves. I like it. Watch that.
Wow, goodness,
big crash,
that was a rough ride.
But impressive. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I'm holding up a number 10 board right now. Unfortunately, it's a 0 for his race. He has become the next of our steadily growing retirement list, which includes Zach Buchanan and Shane Morrison too. Eugene Cartini also in the pits as well with some, I presume, race-ending damage. But meanwhile, looks like Alex Ellis has caught up to Suelio Almeida. He's in second and looking to make it 2 from 2 tonight.
I think he is. He's right in there and ready to get involved in this one. We'll have to see where he will round out from this. But right now, it's going to bring the fight to Almeida, and he's got a huge draft there. Look at the overspeed. Well, he's staying in line. Crafty decision-making there. Too soon to make a move. He was too close to the end there. Would be offset on the corner. So chooses to stay in line, realize he's got competition behind him, and we'll just sit in the order. And now is not time to strike. It's only lap 7. of arguably what will be 25 laps here. So less than halfway, no need to get too carried away. Remember, we have pit stops they have to do. Reese, do you go early, do you go late?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? I think the usual form that I've seen from racers with a required pit stop is if you're in the lead, you want to try and pit as late as possible because, I mean, everyone's still so close together and there's so many cars competing in this race that if you pit early, you are going to get into traffic. Now, you can take advantage of that with the slipstream, but you probably don't want to be dealing with drivers who are off pace compared to you. I think if you're down in the field, you want to pit early. Most of the drivers will probably try to pit at the halfway mark, but I'm expecting the likes of Almeida and Ellis to stay out as long as they can, run the tank dry.
No, we'll have to see whether or not that will come to fact. Ellis holds himself in place there again. Not wanting to get too excited here, and this is only going to help the others kind of gain. Oh, Brashard did it. Oh, contact from Brashard.
Oh, no.
Down goes Place, I think that was, just ahead of him. Yeah, Stephen Place is no longer in place, unfortunately. Needs parts of his car.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It looks like Phil Bouchard just tapped him in the rear coming through the corner. So the driver who started on pole position for this race, unfortunately, has his race come to potentially a premature end in the wall, but not as much damage as I expected. So maybe he'll get the repairs done and get back out there.
What we can hope to happen, unfortunately, I think at this stage is we'll see him go through. What's going to come from this one, though, as Ellis bides his time on Almeida. Harmon holding on last of our top 10 circle rounds as Rashad closes in on him. Genest started 5th, currently running 5th. He's holding his own. Harris is in the 6th spot, started 4th. He's dropped down. So Haynes is up from 13th to 7th. So Haynes could be a mover.
Yeah,
Here goes Rashad.
Haynes. Yeah, some fantastic running there from Haynes, 5 places up. Let's see if he can make up any time here with the battle between Arnaud Genest and Mark Harris coming into the final couple of corners. Well, he's going to get 2 places from that. Wow. Oh, okay. It's gotten worse. It's gotten way worse. There's a pile up behind him at the final corner. There's plenty of cars in the grass, plenty of panels all over the place. That's massive.
That is unfortunate. Let's get a replay here to see what happened with this one. But that was absolutely humongous. Talk us through it here.
Yeah, so the spin happens ahead and Curtis James goes right into the parked car. And then the number 7 decides to come in and unfortunately loses his front end. And it seemed like drivers were trying to go 3 wide, trying to avoid it all. And unfortunately, the likes of Ben Willard, Hardman, and Michael Broomhead, our series organizer as well, potentially coming away from that with some panel damage.
Yeah, that is not how we'd want this to happen, unfortunately, but it has in fact taken place. So they'll have to get things cycled around and get themselves back into running order. Those that need repairs will have to hit pit road. Unfortunately, will likely mean their race is done. Almeida still holding here, but look at this. Ellis running in line behind him. Has allowed him to make a big gap here on Brashard. 2 seconds nearly over Phil Brashard. That is a massive difference there. That makes it a big advantage to this one. But look at Haynes, 13th to 4th here. This guy is moving through this field.
Yeah. Excellent run from Joey Haynes. Now with this lead battle here, I mean, we noticed it earlier with the leaders, the former leaders who are now down the field, but these two slipstreaming the way they are, I'm going to make a call here. I think Alex Ellis lifting off in the slipstream, potentially saving a tiny bit of fuel. Now, that could potentially shorten his pit stop by that crucial half a second for him to get the lead over Alex Ellis in the pit cycle. Here's another view of the ruckus at the final turn. Dave Peterson getting bumped around and having to take to the pit entry there.
Absolutely. Yeah, not where you want to end up in a race, unfortunately, but it's where they've put themselves. And we're seeing, oh, look at this drafting here with Sweller and Ellis. Oh, we're on top of each other there. Absolutely, well, like you said earlier, splitter to gearbox. They are absolutely hooked up there. Not quite touching, but as close as you can get without doing so. And
yeah, absolutely.
Still holding, actually. Look at the timing across the line here to Brashard. But he's closing in. Brashard is actually reducing that gap.
Yeah, so Alex Ellis is going to have to be looking over his shoulder pretty soon. Going to the point I was making earlier, Mosport is a track where you're spending the vast majority of the lap on full throttle, so a lot of fuel usage over the course of the lap. Now, the fuel tank should last about 20 minutes with the cap that the organisers have put in. So anything you can do to use a tiny bit less fuel, extend your stint, shorten your pit stop, and take a bit less fuel at the stop to run out the race could be a huge advantage for Ellis. That's why we're not seeing him make the move on Almeida. Oh dear. Oh, that's was that contact? No, he just got a big old slide on the way into Moss.
Yeah, it's looking a bit greasy down there. We have noticed it's going to be difficult for some of these guys just to keep things straight. It gets a little dusty from all the kickoff on the track, so it can make things very, very difficult. Looking further forward, we'll keep our eyes on what's going on. Howard in 16th making a move here on Gerard from 15th place. So with Gerard, one of our guys we have the camera on. We'll see him with this one. As round goes Howard. Takes that move him up to 15th place.
Nicely done.
Forward, nicely secured, yeah, locked in place. This is behind us, Gerard. We should have his camera somewhere, I think, as well.
Certainly should. Well, Clovis, a little bit wide coming through the first turn. That's not going to be very good for him in this battle. He has to go defensive there. Dante coming into turn 2 side by side, and there's no run for Caden Goodridge even behind there. Oh, he gets shuffled out of the way.
That got hectic for a second there, as he got moved. There was moving happening there, but he's holding to the inside and he's lost us spots now, going backwards here, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a shame. Maybe he picked up a tiny bit of aero damage that's potentially affecting his straight line speed, though the contact was light, so maybe it's just a case of him being slightly off rhythm. And who can blame him?
No, I completely agree with you. It's very much one of those circumstances, but we'll see how it does press onwards though. But looking at the timing, we're seeing Almeida holding true, but how much of this is Ellis just allowing him to open that gap with Brashard? They don't want to bring him into this fight. Ellis wants to try and do this, but I think he might be taking the wrong move here. I think having to draft pass and actually getting through on Andretti will be beneficial. We are seeing the first pit stops happening here. Peterson comes in as well, and a few others. These guys from the top 10 who are making that pit road entry, so we're starting to see guys hitting that now. Quick stops for them all. Splashing off they go.
Also seeing we're also seeing Caden Goodridge come into the lane as well, but with damage. He made contact with Dante Quispe, that battle that we were looking at earlier. Unfortunate for him, but Peterson out of the lane, and looks like Girard has made the stop too.
Yes. And we will see our leaders come down now. Is this the time? No, neither are going to go for it. We've got a replay there for